Hey guys, I am going to talk about this week's lesson. We are going to be practicing multiple reading strategies again. So in your document, you will receive an assignment where you're going to practice 2 or 3 multiple reading strategies. And I will also include an attachment of all of the reading strategies again. I'm going to read just a little bit. I've been rereading Harry Potter again, so I'm going to read a couple pages of chapter 5, and I'm going to practice the reading strategies of asking questions, under the surface, and text structure, because that's kind of a difficult one, and I'm going to attack it. So here we go. Chapter 5 is called Diagon Alley. Harry woke early the next morning. Although he could tell it was daylight, he kept his eyes shut tight. It was a dream, he told himself firmly. I dreamed a giant called Hagrid came to tell me I was going to a school for wizards. When I open my eyes, I'll be at home in my cupboard. There was suddenly a loud tapping noise. And there's Aunt Petunia knocking at the door, Harry thought, his heart sinking. But still, he didn't open his eyes. It had been such a good dream. Tap, tap, tap. All right, Harry mumbled, I'm getting up. He sat up and Hagrid's heavy coat fell off him. The hut was full of sunlight. The storm was over. Hagrid himself was asleep on the collapsed sofa, and there was an owl rapping its claw on the window, a newspaper held in its beak. Harry scrambled to his feet, so happy he felt as though a large balloon was swelling inside him. He went straight to the window and jerked it open. The owl swooped in and dropped the newspaper on top of Hagrid, who didn't wake up. The owl then fluttered onto the door and began to attack Hagrid's coat. Don't do that. Harry tried to wave the owl out of the way, but it snapped its beak fiercely at him and carried on savaging the coat. Hagrid, said Harry loudly, there's an owl. Pay him, Hagrid grunted onto the sofa. What? He wants paying for delivering the paper. Look in the pockets. Hagrid's coat seemed to be made of nothing but pockets. Bunches of keys, slug pellets, balls of string, peppermint humbugs, tea bags. Finally, Harry pulled out a handful of strange-looking coins. Give him 5 knuts, said Hagrid sleepily. Knuts? The little bronze ones. Harry counted out 5 little bronze coins, and the owl held out his leg so that Harry could put the money into a small leather pouch tied to it. Then he flew off through the open window. Hagrid yawned loudly, sat up, and stretched. Best be off, Harry. Lots to do today. Gotta get up to London and buy all your stuff for school. Harry was turning over the wizarding coins and looking at them. He had just thought of something that made him feel as though the happy balloon inside him had gotten a puncture. Hagrid? Said Hagrid, who was pulling on his huge boots. I haven't got any money, and you heard Uncle Vernon last night. He won't pay for me to go and learn magic. Don't worry about that, said Hagrid, standing up and scratching his beard. Do you think your parents didn't leave you anything? But if their house was destroyed... They didn't keep their gold in the house, boy. Nah, first stop for us is Gringotts, Wizard's Bank. Have a sausage. They're not bad cold, and I wouldn't say no to a bit of your birthday cake, neither. Wizards have banks? Just the one, Gringotts, run by goblins. Harry dropped the bit of sausage he was holding. Goblins? Yeah, so you'd be mad to try and rob it, I'll tell you that. Never mess with goblins, Harry. Gringotts is the safest place in the world for anything you want to keep safe. Except maybe Hogwarts. As a matter of fact, I gotta visit Gringotts anyway. For Dumbledore. Hogwarts business. Hagrid drew himself up proudly. He usually gets me to do important stuff for him. Fetching you, getting things from Gringotts. He knows he can trust me, see? Okay, and I'm gonna stop there. So my first few questions are, why do they have got owls to send messages? Why can't they just use regular mail? Why do they have goblins working in a bank? And what is a characteristic of a goblin that makes him such a good banker? Okay, so those are my questions. My under the surface stuff is when I think about what's really going on with the characters and how they're feeling or what's really happening or what's being said. And I think that Harry is so overwhelmed by everything that he has learned. You know, he's been living with the Dursleys his whole life. They've treated him horribly. They kept him in the cupboard under the stairs for 11 years. I bet he's so excited to learn about his parents, but, you know, at the same time, he must be sad to learn that they were amazing people and that the Dursleys never even told him. And then finally, if you're going to do 3 strategies, I'm going to practice text structure. And I've noticed that in this story, then it has a narrator, and the narrator is not the same thing as the author, by the way. It's not J.K. Rowling telling the story. She has a narrator that gives their opinion. So you can tell when you read the book that the narrator doesn't have a high opinion of the Dursleys. Rowling writes the book with really strong details that make the reader feel like they're at Privet Drive or at the zoo or on the hut on the island. She shows humor in the fact that the bank is run by goblins. I also noticed the text, like she has really creative names and ideas for places and characters, like Hagrid's, Gringotts, Canuts, owls sending messages, for example. So your assignment is to read for about 20 minutes and to respond and to choose 2 multiple reading strategies. So the first thing you do, again, you choose your strategies. You write them down in your notebook or on a graphic organizer I'm going to give you. And you will fill it out with your 2 strategies. So best of luck. I hope that you're enjoying reading your books, and have a great weekend and a good week. Bye.